Gosh, I'm trying to hold it in right now. The support's been overwhelming.
Tickets for Nashville this week are nearly sold out. We are calling this the Bryson effect.
I mean, with how much support we have out here, and it's just the start, that's a testament to what Live Golf is and what the Crushers are doing, what our team's doing, and what we're trying to do for Nashville and places all across the globe. So super excited for the future of Live.
Nice to at least walk down the last few holes, or at least the last hole, knowing that it was pretty much done. It's never safe, but very proud of everybody, and of course Tiro. I mean, what a week to get his first win in a few years and win by 6 in an absolutely dominant performance the way he did. It was absolutely incredible, so I couldn't be happier for him.
Certainly with not winning for 3.5 years, you kind of naturally question if you can do it again. So I'm just proud of myself to be able to get through that and play the way I did.
Welcome to hour number 3. Only one more hour to go before we send you into your holiday weekend with the 4th of July tomorrow. Hopefully you have the 5th of July off as well, and a long Independence Day holiday to celebrate all the best that summer has to offer. He is Donnie right side. I am Ben Stevens. One more hour to break down everything for you, including a ton of Major League Baseball conversation coming your way, and an early look, although the odds are not out just yet, for the Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest tomorrow morning in the corner of Surf and Stillwell on Coney Island. Sure, the GOAT, Joey Chestnut, will not be there. Mikey Sudo, the GOAT of the women's hot dog eating contest, will be there. We'll break it all down for you here in this third and final hour.
By the way, I assume like the FanDuel Sportsbook, we don't have odds for the hot dog eating contest, do we? There legally?
No.
The only reason I asked that
yet.
is
they did
not
last
yet
year.
Because did they like to win it and stuff? Because with Joey Chestnut being out, you take a look and say maybe if you have an advantage. I don't know if it was handicapping it, but at least it was always like, well, nobody's really going to go against Joey Chestnut. He wins it every year. So maybe we have some new looks this year. We can actually get down on an underdog and say, I think I can win some money in this event.
We've got a couple of good notes and info from our producer, Joe Frieso, who, of course, is our stat man. He has the day off right now, starting his long holiday weekend early. We'll give a nice shout-out to our guy, John Shames, a little bit later on, who has been a great member of the grid for a very, very long time. But I have to think, DRS, that Joe Frieso is only trolling us with what the Fade the Public poll is today, knowing that we are two huge soccer guys at SportsGrid. Which soccer tournament have you enjoyed more? That's the question. We wanted to hear from you. It's time for Fade the Public. So, which soccer tournament have you enjoyed more? Is it Copa America, the Euros, or neither? The Euros, the leading vote getter at 52.5. Neither coming in second at SportsGrid at 28.7. And Copa America in last, and I would agree with that, because how could you enjoy another failure in a massive way on the international stage from the U.S. men's national team? Donnie, which way did you vote?
Yeah, I voted neither, but again, it could have been either one of these. But also, let's understand, not a lot of votes, I should say, coming in this early. Maybe people are already on that holiday break, or maybe we just use the hashtag everything, and that could have really bumped it up and just thrown UConn into the equation, apparently, as well, to try to hype this thing. But also, don't you get 4 spots here in the poll? Like, could there have been like Copa, Euros, neither, or both? As maybe one of those here, because I just feel like the neither was asking you as a soccer hater. Now, granted, I say to myself, I'm not a soccer hater here, because I do enjoy the World Cup. I think it's really good theater at this point.
Lie to yourself.
But sometimes I watch Team USA and find myself rooting against them just because the backlash at that point. Like, it's the fact of the matter is, if they miss the World Cup, you get a little bit of a chuckle out of it. But it is fun to sort of back your team. But also, the fact of the matter is, sort of maybe had which camera angle did you enjoy for the soccer tournaments? Because we know in the Copa America, something ridiculous was going on in Kansas City at that point. But I did vote neither, but I can see why 52% of the voting public did go with the Euros, because it is a better overall brand of soccer. And I don't know if you're voting, like, I really enjoyed the Copa Americas. Why? The U.S. was horrendous in the Copa America. So I don't know who was enjoying that for the 18%, to be honest.
And listen, here we are, right? Neither Donnie or I a huge football head or soccer fan by any means. We do understand it is the most popular sport globally in the world. We are not going to demean your love for it. But for us, in the purposes of this show, as Joe Frizo is texting me right now, so now he is awake that you like that FDP. What is he, Kirk Cousins? This is just, I mean, you're not going to get the insight you need from us. There are great people on the SportsGrid network that can break down the footy for you much better than we can. What we shall say, the Euros into the quarterfinal round. There is no round of 16 in Copa America. They are on to the round of 8 as well. But when you are, for me, I'm only a fan of the U.S. men's national team, right? On that international stage in Copa America. Yeah. I'm not going to sit down, carve time out of my day to watch Panama and Bolivia or insert X, whatever match that we have. It's just me personally. So when our team, our national team, falls short and fails once again, I get so mad at Copa America, it loses that luster. And then you look at the Copa America odds, and you see Panama with the longest price now out of the group stage. That could have been us, and it's not. You see Canada out of the group stage as well. That's just fully disappointing, DRS.
Yeah, Canada hasn't scored a goal in like 3 years, and still they advanced over the United States, which is kind of wild as it plays out. But, like, you host it in your country, right? And you can't even get through the group stage with a lot of bad soccer teams that are included in there. And to cap it all off, in the final game against Uruguay, you take yourself and say, well, they don't have anything to play for. We have everything to play for. And you still don't score a goal at that point here. I'm just very upset. We should have superstars. Yeah. And you know what? For the next, 20 years, what do they call this? Like the golden age of American soccer? What kind of golden age is this?
Golden generation,
It should be the horrendous. Yeah, exactly. It should be the horrendous generation right now. But you know what? Just Agreed. For football players, what do you say we do this? We put a national, memorandum in that says the best athletes over the next 5 years must play soccer, nothing else. We'll sacrifice the NFL. We'll sacrifice kids going to play hockey. We'll sacrifice the baseball players, the NBA players. Can we just do that for once and just turn it on and say, okay, let's go and win a couple tournaments, then we'll get back to business just to show we can do that? Because I find it hard to believe with this many people in this country that we can't get a soccer team put together of 11 players who are decent. It just baffles me to all end of this.
You see, Joe Frizo, because I know you're watching and listening, you see the conversations that stem from this Fade the Public poll? Good troll, my friend. Quality. Good troll. Can you hit us with another pronunciation of Uruguay? It was beautiful.
Uruguay. Yeah, Uruguay.
That was beautiful.
Roll it over.
Really?
Yeah. Don't hit me with
Uruguay is a great.
They're playing Uruguay this weekend. Come on, man. Get it right, people. Show some respect.
Listen, show some respect. In Uruguay, a great, great soccer powerhouse. It's no fault in our game that we fell short to them, but with all the stakes, trying to match the occasion once, we don't do that. Canada hasn't won a Stanley Cup in 31 years, and yet they can advance in Copa America, and we can't? It's disappointing.
That's the problem.
The Euros are kind of fun, though. What?
No, that's the whole issue with it at this point. Like, how are we sitting here that we can't advance? It's just like you got a
100%.
layup in that bracket to advance, and they were so bad. Red cards, can't score. Enough of this nonsense.
Yeah.
I see. You know what? We should have a vote. Like, I know the presidential election is coming up here. Should we vote out the U.S. men's national soccer team for 10 years and just banish them?
Sure.
I don't want to see it anymore. I just don't. I don't want to see it.
At least Greg Berhalter, or the head of the U.S. Soccer Federation, I would say. Yesterday, the Dutch advance at the Euros. Turkey advances as well with some great goalkeeping in net there for that Turkish national team. We are on the quarters in the European Championships. In England, Donnie right side is the favorite. It has been since the early 1960s, since the Three Lions have won any international trophy or title. Isn't coming home in the Euros in 2024.
It should be. And by the way, who do we play next for the English? Who are we up against? Do we know?
Let me look this up right now. This is all going underway on Saturday. First match of the doubleheader on Saturday afternoon. England versus Switzerland. Minus 176 in favor of the English to advance.
Yeah, can't stay neutral on that one, people. We got to go with the English on that one. Let's get after it, man. Let's go. By the way, did you know your boy DRS is 25% English? So shout out my heritage. Let's go, dude. Baby. It's coming home.
Not, dude.
Oh, do, 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 do. It's coming home. Yes, 25%, baby.
The 23 and me on the right side family would be something. Daily basis up next.
Yep.
England survived yesterday in the Euro round of 16. They score into stoppage time, and then in extra time, they score the game winner.
You want to wait to the very final minutes? And I say this again, Ben. I don't know. I think you were here last year for my rant on this. Why don't we just play soccer the way you play it when you're down a goal with like 5 minutes to go?
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
I think the one comparison that I'd like to make that reminds me of Tiger is Scotty's ability to make shots on the Sunday look like shots on a Thursday. And Tiger was so good at doing that too. In the high pressure leverage moments, he didn't lose a step. You know, he was still able to hit it pin high. He's still knocking down flag sticks. He doesn't mishit it.
Only on SportsGrid.
You went to Alberta and, came back with a lot of different stories. I know that sports betting as a possibility, just like Ontario in 2022, we could see that.
The other big topic was Alberta, because sure enough, we've heard lots and we've talked about it on here that, a law was passed to allow the market to open up, and we were kind of waiting to see what was going to happen.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Watch out for USA and Canada in 4 years. Cricket's going to be a sport that's growing.
I made my first cricket bet last week or over the weekend. I was getting a team that was leading like 150 to 5 plus odds. I'm like, I'm up 150 points and I'm getting plus odds. Where do I sign? I love this cricket stuff. What are you kidding me?
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
It is time for another edition of Daily Bases, live right here on this Wednesday morning on the Early Line on SportsGrid with our guy Craig Mish, our MLB insider, who was breaking news yesterday on Tim Anderson being DFA'd by the Marlins, and, of course, the host of Newswire at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Craig Mish, the grind never stops for you. We appreciate your time.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me. And by the way, happy July 4th to everyone coming up tomorrow. I know that this is a fun holiday, a weird July 4th, to say the least, on a Thursday. It feels like it's been a while since we've done one of these, but happy July 4th.
Yeah. a couple of days off, but Craig, throughout Independence Day and this holiday weekend, it's America's pastime. On the diamond, on America's birthday. Full slate yesterday. Another full card today on a Wednesday. A full slate tomorrow on a Thursday, the 4th of July.
Yeah.
It is time to hit it. It's time for the Daily Basis. Craig. At least I still have fun with that. Yesterday, Craig, opener of the midweek set inside Yankee Stadium between the Reds and the Pinstripes. It was Cincy getting on board early and often. The Yankees tried to rally but were held off. A 5-4 victory for the Reds in the opener. And really the story was another bad outing for Luis Gil, who was the American League Rookie of the Year favorite, maybe an AL Cy Young contender at the end of May. But since June 1st, 6 starts, a 6.84 ERA, 16 earned runs given up in his last 3 starts here for New York. You put that in comparison to his run in May, a perfect 6-0 record with a sub-1 ERA at 0.70. What's the issue been for Gil?
Yeah, I mean, look, you could call it the rookie wall. I mean, I think that's in play. Imanaga is going through the same thing or went through the same thing with the Cubs. You also look at Gil and his workload. He's going to surpass all innings limits that he's had previously, too. So I would guess at some point this turns back in the right direction for him, but it just stands to reason that it's just extremely hard to count on a young pitcher like this who just doesn't have a lot of innings behind him over the course of his career in August and September. So, that's the positive thing for the Yankees is that Gil got him to this point. I mean, look, the Yankees a year ago were not where they were right now. So I think that you look at Gil and you shake his hand and I guess you pat him on the back and say, hey, great job. But there certainly is a chance he's just not the same guy in the second half of the season. He's a young pitcher. Teams get better. Advanced scouting is very good. Things change. Maybe he is good in the second half of the season, but I just don't see him been throwing 180 innings this year. And, so certainly some change is going to happen with him.
Yeah, they would love to see him regain that form that he had earlier in the season. We'll see if he can do that. But big Marlins news yesterday, Craig, that you did break here. Joining Avisail Garcia, you see now Tim Anderson being released by the Miami Marlins. What's going on with inside that Marlins locker room? Because the one thing I will ask you is we've always known the Marlins to sort of penny pinch with that payroll here, but they're releasing guys that they paid some pretty good money to here.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, Donnie. I mean, you really think about it. Some of the moves that they've made recently, kind of crazy. First move that they made back in, I believe it was late April, early May, I can't remember. They traded Luis Arias to the Padres and are paying his salary for the remainder of the season. Then they cut Avisail Garcia. They're paying his salary for this year and next year. They let go of Tim Anderson. They're paying his salary too. So really the money factor isn't there. At this point, what's happening is that the Marlins are looking ahead to the future here, and there's just no point in carrying around dead money on players anymore. They sent money to the Padres to get a better return on the Arias trade. Remains to be seen if that's the case. Eating the money on Garcia so some younger players can play. And with Tim Anderson, Donnie, simply put, the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak, was Sunday. I don't know if you guys caught this, but like a really easy double play hit to Tim Anderson. He just botched it, and they lost the game, So is he going to play again in the future in Major League Baseball? I don't know the answer to that, but he certainly has had this downward spiral for the last couple of years. It's rare to see this sort of thing happen to a player this young.
Just a few years ago in Chicago, as the shortstop for the White Sox, was becoming the face of the franchise, one of the more energetic and young players in MLB. It has been a quick downward spiral, unfortunately, for Tim Anderson. Yesterday, a rough day for the Fish. They lose 8-3 to the Red Sox at home. And Craig, at Lone Depot Park yesterday, we were hoping for history. The Marlins were trying to organize the longest continuous crowd wave to to set a new Guinness World, not a rave, a longest crowd consecutive wave to set a new Guinness Book of World Records mark, and it was canceled. Craig, give us the inside scoop here. What happened?
Yeah, I've got a couple of different people telling me a couple of different things here. I just think in the end, factor number one is that they were going to do this, I guess, after the game. And, the fans, after watching a baseball game, win or lose, they want those fireworks tonight. The Marlins are doing it tonight. So there would have been a little delay in between that. And then the second thing is, let's just call it what it is. You don't know how many people are showing up for these games at night. You don't know. So to just assume that you're guaranteed to make this happen at any baseball game, let alone the Marlins, who we know have struggled with attendance, I don't know. It's to me just a strange idea to begin with, and I don't think fans will miss it one bit tonight. They'll just have their fireworks after the game. Honestly, I don't know what happened here. I from start to finish, bizarre deal.
Maybe we'll see some fireworks here in the Windy City. Yesterday, Trey Turner provided those fireworks for the Philadelphia Phillies. Today, it's Wheeler versus Imanaga, two aces on the mound. The Phillies are a slight favorite today. Can the good times keep going, and can the Phillies maybe get to a 10-game lead after tonight if they beat the Chicago Cubs?
They just keep winning. Doesn't matter who's in the lineup, to say the least. But look, the Phillies pitching, especially with Wheeler, Nola, and Suarez, coming back to earth a little bit too. Maybe they need a break coming up here for the Major League Baseball All-Star game. So you see a pick'em and you look at these two pitchers and you say, my gosh, this could potentially be an under. I'm not so sure. I think we could see some runs scored today. Just keep on that wind, by the way, always at Wrigley Field. That is really the key. Also, by the way, shout out to John Shames' last day, I know, here at SportsGrid. I know you guys will talk about this, later. I'll talk about it on Newswire, but thanks for everything, Shames. You've been, amazing. I mean, the adult film industry is going to be very competitive for you. I want to warn you in advance. But thank you again for everything you've done.
Yeah.
England survived yesterday in the Euro round of 16. They score in the stoppage time, and then in extra time, they score the game winner.
You want to wait to the very final minutes? And I say this again, Ben. I don't know. I think you were here last year for my rant on this. Why don't we just play soccer the way you play it when you're down a goal with like 5 minutes to go?
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
I think the one comparison that I'd like to make that reminds me of Tiger is Scotty's ability to make shots on the Sunday look like shots on a Thursday. And Tiger was so good at doing that too. In the high pressure leverage moments, he didn't lose a step. He was still able to hit it pin high. He's still knocking down flag sticks. He doesn't miss hit it.
Only on SportsGrid.
You went to Alberta and came back with a lot of different stories. I know that sports betting as a possibility, just like Ontario in 2022, we could see that.
The other big topic was Alberta, because sure enough, we've heard lots and we've talked about it on here that a law was passed to allow the market to open up, and we were kind of waiting to see what was going to happen.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Watch out for USA and Canada in 4 years. Cricket's going to be a sport that's growing.
I made my first cricket bet last week or over the weekend. I was getting a team that was leading like 150 to 5 plus odds. I'm like, I'm up 150 points and I'm getting plus odds. Where do I sign? I love this cricket stuff. What are you kidding me?
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Tomorrow is the 4th of July. When you think of Independence Day, what comes to mind? Fireworks, family, summer, America. Oh, I get that as well. Independence Day. Good job there, DRS. You kind of ruined my intro, though, where I was going to finish with hot dogs. And Donnie Rightside gave you the keys for your grill out tomorrow. Potato buns, not the crappy, crusty white stuff. Potato buns.
Don't do it.
That is the key. But, Donnie, when you often think of hot dogs on the 4th of July, you probably think of one man known as Jaws hoisting a mustard belt at the corner of Surf and Stillwell on Coney Island. In the Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest, that's the 16-time champ, the greatest to ever do it, Joey Chestnut. Of course, over the last month, the drama that has surrounded Chestnut, who is not going to compete in the Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest tomorrow because of a partnership with Impossible Foods, plant-based vegan dogs, won't eat what Nathan's Famous is providing. He will not be there tomorrow, and Donnie Wright's side is devastated. A guy that sets his calendar each and every year to the 4th of July, sets his alarm so that whatever he is doing around noon Eastern time, he is in front of his TV to watch the hot dog eating contest, will have a big hole in his heart tomorrow, DRS, I would only assume.
Yep, there will be a big hole in my heart, and who knows who's going to win it and what the final tallies will be, but I'm pretty sure we'll give a good synopsis of who some of those winners might have. But again, this is a chance that we can get back to what it was supposed to be. A hot dog, a bun, you eat it as one. Say it with me, Ben. A hot dog and a bun, and you eat it as one. You don't separate
eat it as one.
Exactly.
A hot dog and a bun, you eat it as one.
See that?
Did you know? Okay, ready? 3, 2,
go.
1. A hot dog and a bun.
And bun. You eat it as one. I actually forgot what the saying was. To be
even though it's your segment that you came up with. Your saying.
Yeah.
Listen, that's the delay when we do things virtually. In studio like we were last Thursday, that would have hit really, really hard. DRS, although we don't have... Although this has been a fun show today. Although we don't have the GOAT on the men's side, the GOAT on the women's side in terms of competitive eating, Mikey Sudo is there seeking her 10th mustard belt. She holds the record, 48 and a half hot dogs consumed at the Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Eating Contest. There are no odds out just yet on our lovely FanDuel Sportsbook for this year's hot dog eating contest.
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know. I read one of those names a little bit too quickly here that was on that graphic, so it just made me chuckle for a moment to see who was actually going to be in this contest at this point.
I got an idea. I got it.
Oh, well, man.
I got an idea of what name that was.
Yeah.
It was probably number 2, no?
Yeah, squint a little
or was
bit.
it number 4?
Yeah, squint a little bit to see that. Yeah, no, it was the number 2 guy up there. My goodness.
Yeah, it was Jeffrey Esper. I would assume the runner-up the last 3 years. Have to assume he's going to be the favorite this year. Gideon Oji, 6'9", 225.
Heard that name before. Yeah.
Somebody give that brother some shoulder pads. Let's get him out there on an offensive line. And after he beefs up with some hot dogs tomorrow. But Mikey Sudo, again.
Down there, 5'5"? Tremendous. Look at that card out there, BWS. Look at that.
I think that says 5.
You got hidden names all over that.
Yeah. That might says 5'5", 155.
5'5". Change it to an A. You know what I mean? About 55. So there we go. With
Brandon
this. Who is the favorite?
Again for the air.
Who is the favorite for this, though? Like, who do we expect to win this? Who's supposed to be in it?
My guess would be the guy known as Jeffrey Esp. That would be no way. No way are we going back. What is this?
Show it.
What is on our...
I like it. Look at a little montage right now. Little Ritters. They got the belt right there. By the way, that is a quality belt, by the way, to win it, the mustard belt.
It is a really good belt.
Your hot dog
the mustard belt is fantastic.
Wait, what is the national labor shortage in there? Let's go back to that first one. What was that about?
Run it back.
Is that really put in there? Yeah, put that first part about again. Hold on. I might not have been paying attention the way I should have. Here, let me just take a look on the side screen.
Not this one.
All right, here we go.
In black and white.
5 cents. I get it there. Hey, look, man, there is a labor shortage going around from what I understand, so maybe it is, Oh, well, there you go. Hot dogs, national labor shortage, ready to go at this point.
That was a good segment.
Do it, man. We'll
get back to the real stuff. I'm crying. We'll get back to the real stuff on the other side of the break. Donnie's baseball breakdowns on a full Wednesday card in MLB. Cool. That's next. You're on the early line. England survived yesterday in the Euro round of 16. They score in the stoppage time, and then in extra time, they score the game winner.
You want to wait to the very final minutes? And I say this again, Ben. I don't know. I think you were here last year for my rant on this. Why don't we just play soccer the way you play it when you're down a goal with like 5 minutes to go?
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
I think the one comparison that I'd like to make that reminds me of Tiger is Scotty's ability to make shots on a Sunday look like shots on a Thursday. And Tiger was so good at doing that too. In the high pressure leverage moments, he didn't lose a step. You know, he was still able to hit it pin high. He's still knocking down flag sticks. He doesn't miss hit it.
Only on SportsGrid.
You went to Alberta and, came back with a lot of different stories. I know that sports betting as a possibility, just like Ontario in 2022, we could see that.
The other big topic was Alberta, because sure enough, we've heard lots and we've talked about it on here that, a law was passed to allow the market to open up, and we were kind of waiting to see what was going to happen.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Watch out for USA and Canada in 4 years. Cricket's going to be a sport that's growing.
I made my first cricket bet last week or over the weekend. I was getting a team that was leading like 150 to 5 plus odds. I'm like, I'm up 150 points and I'm getting plus odds. Where do I sign? I love this cricket stuff. What are you kidding me?
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
A full card on this Wednesday around Major League Baseball. Same story tomorrow for the 4th of July, America's pastime on America's B-Day. It's a lot of baseball breakdowns coming your way to end out this final half hour of our final show before the long holiday weekend. An ace affair that we looked at early with Craig Mish inside the friendly confines today. It's Shota Imanaga getting the start for Chicago. Zach Wheeler on the other side for the Phils. The Phillies, albeit shorthanded offensively, led by Trey Turner yesterday, win the opener in Chicago 6-4 over the Cubbies. They were an underdog yesterday. The favorites with Zach Wheeler on the bump today.
Yeah, Zach Wheeler should be able to handle his business today. It's not a heavy favorite for the Philadelphia Phillies, who I think are a better overall team. And also, you take a look at the last game, which I was at with Zach Wheeler going up against the Marlins. He pitched very well into the 7th inning, but had a high pitch count, left the game with the lead. By the time the game was over, the Philadelphia Phillies and their bullpen had blown that game. So I'm expecting a better pitching performance out of him, or should I say a more efficient pitching performance out of him. The question to me is not Zach Wheeler and what I'm going to get out of this Phillies lineup, which all of a sudden isn't that good due to some injuries. It's what I'm actually going to get from the Chicago Cubs starting pitcher, Shota Imanaga. The one thing we did know, Ben, if you're looking at late March, early April, and May, maybe the best pitcher overall in baseball. But in the month of June, he's fallen on some hard times here. A couple of those games, certainly not indicative of what he was doing at the beginning of the season. And if you're looking at his statistics, 348 batters he's faced on the season, a 127 ISO and a weighted on base percentage of 282, which is spectacularly good. That also includes June. But if we just take a look at basically June, that goes from a 127 ISO up to a 198, a weighted on base percentage of 282 up to a 348. He's hittable right now, and I expect Wheeler to keep those bats down for the Cubs. Under is probably a good look here, but I like the Phillies at that price point, minus 127, minus 128 in that range.
Yeah, not a very big number on baseball's best team. The Phils have 56 wins, 56 and 29, best record in all of MLB. Zach Wheeler has been great, and to your point on Imanaga, his first 9 starts in his MLB career, a perfect 5-0 record with a .84 ERA. Then he gave up 7 earned in his final start in the month of May, and in June, he made 5 starts, gave up 17 total earned runs. Yes, 10 of those came in his second to last start against the New York Mets, but now the record is 7-2 with a 3.07 ERA for Shota Imanaga. I would look at the Phils as well in the Cubs, who were 11-16 in June, now 11-17 with their first loss in July yesterday. The Atlanta Braves, first game in July yesterday as well, with Reynaldo Lopez on the bump, come up a little bit lame against San Francisco. The Giants winning 5-3 in the opener of this midweek set in the ATL. Chris Sale gets the start today, who has been great this year for the Braves. They're nearly a $2 favorite, as they were yesterday in the opening game of this set.
Yeah, you just take a look at this, and it's like, the last time we saw, I believe, Chris Sale on the mound, who's a minus 300 favorite, I want to say against the Chicago White Sox. I think they lost that game 1-0. It's not his fault. In particular, a lot of these pitchers that are taking losses for the Atlanta Braves, or if they do take a loss, it's really not their fault. You go 6 innings pitched and go 3 or less runs, you expect to win that baseball game. But the fact of the matter is Atlanta is struggling at the plate. Now they're home. Do you want to lay a minus 200 price or better, which is probably what it's going to wind up by the time you see game time? Not necessarily, but if we are looking at the road pitching performances of Jordan Hicks on the season, 36 2/3 innings. He's got a 3.68 ERA, which is fairly solid, but that climbs a little bit there with that xFIP number of 4.42, something to keep an eye on. Yeah. The better pitcher by far on the mound here to me is with Atlanta, but I can't lay a 2-1 price where I say to myself, well, what am I going to score? 3, maybe 4 runs? It should be good enough to win, but not enough for a price point there. I take a look at that 8. Now, granted, we're Atlanta. It's 90-degree temperatures. It'll be hot, muggy. The wind is blowing a little bit in. I don't know if we get the 9 runs today because I expect Hicks to be okay and I expect Sale to be very good. So it might just be the better bet as opposed to a side, just taking that under 8 total.
Atlanta, once again, the highest under percentage in Major League Baseball. 62% of the games overall this year for the Braves have hit the under. The Dodgers walked it off yesterday in the Ravine in the opener against the Arizona Diamondbacks. 2-run shot from Shohei Ohtani, and maybe one of the better offseason acquisitions in all of the sport. Teoscar Hernandez, he has been sensational in his first year in L.A. 3 RBIs yesterday, including the walk-off winner, the RBI single in the bottom of the 9th. Today, the Dodgers a hefty favorite once again against the D-backs, minus 205. Total is 9. Large price in Atlanta. You said not worth the vig. How about here in Los Angeles?
You might be looking at maybe a team total here for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, granted, you know me, Ben. I don't really like all of a sudden just to go crazy on a guy that I see coming up from the minor leagues and is not yet to pitch in Major League Baseball and say to yourself, how do we think he's going to perform? But sometimes you take a look at there's differences between pitchers that are coming up. You have Paul Skeens coming up. Wow, we expect big things, high strikeout guy, and if he dominates, we expect that. You take a look at Christian Nina, who's expected to start today. Let's just go back to his last 6 starts in the minor leagues, which is all in AAA. 4 runs earned, 7 runs earned, 5 runs earned, 2 runs earned, 4 and 4 back-to-back. And it's not as if he's throwing, hey, every game it's 8 innings. Most of those games are 5 innings pitched with all those runs given up. That's at AAA. Now you're stepping into Major League Baseball and playing one of those lineups. You don't want to step in and say, well, I don't know if I should be in Major League Baseball or not. The Dodgers should roll in this game, but more than likely, the Ohtani's on the board, the Freddie Freeman's on the board, the Jason Hayward's on the board. Just taking that normal left-hand, right-hand split, you should do some damage. We should get some RBI action from the Dodgers tonight with a victory.
It is kind of crazy, Donnie. You made this point about Aaron Judge before. Best batting average in MLB, most home runs in MLB, most RBIs in all of baseball. Shohei Ohtani has the second best batting average at 320 and leads the National League in home runs, hitting his 27th yesterday. Judge and Ohtani, the minus money odds-on favorites to win the MVP awards in their respective leagues. Of course, Aaron Judge, the American League, Ohtani now in the NL. And keep an eye on Gavin Stone, the starter today for Los Angeles, 9-2 this year with a 2.73 ERA. He has won 5 of his last 6 starts. He has been lights out for Los Angeles. Lights out yesterday for the Texas Rangers early and often against the San Diego Padres. Dylan Cease got the start. San Diego was a slight favorite on the road in Texas. They had won 9 of their last 11 entering for a Rangers team that was struggling the week prior. They had dropped 6 straight finally win a game on Sunday Night Baseball against the Baltimore Orioles, and then everything changed. The Rangers scored 7 runs, 6 of them earned against Dylan Cease. Texas blowing out San Diego 7-0 in the opener in Arlington. Today, a hefty favorite as well for the Rangers. What do you like?
Yeah, you know what's interesting about that, too, because Dylan Cease was one of the best pitchers on the card yesterday and got handled here. Now let's take a look at the opposite end of the spectrum. Now, we don't have a lot of starts here for Mazur, who's going to be on the mound here, the right-handed pitcher for the San Diego Padres. But he does have 22 1/3 innings pitched this season, an ERA 7.25, an xFIP number 6.53. You should be able to get those quality at-bats here out of a Texas Rangers lineup that hasn't been all that good over the past 30 days. So if you say to yourself, well, I don't know if I want to side, we should get runs tonight because Gray's not a great pitcher on the opposite side with a very good hitting lineup for the Padres. Maybe the total is in the best interest tonight in this game to go over 9, which means you need 10 runs, but I think they can get there.
Yesterday, total was 7.5. It stayed under because San Diego did not score, but Dylan Cease allowed more runs than probably we expected. Very low-scoring game in the Northwest. Just 2-0 last night. Baltimore blanking Seattle to win the opener. The O's have won 5 of their last 6. The Mariners have dropped 9 of their last 12. We do it again tonight out in Seattle. You said earlier in the show, DRS, you would be keeping an eye on the M's to bounce back. They're the favorite side tonight. How come?
I'll lay it, minus 118 here. I do like the pitching matchup here because if we're taking a look at home pitching performances, Logan Gilbert, how about this? A 2.70 ERA and a 3.11 xFIP number. Love to see that. Now, on the other side, Dean Kramer is your average pitcher for the Baltimore Orioles. Struggled to start the season, goes on the IL, but his last 3 starts and those rehab starts, they were terrible in the minors. I think that might extend tonight. It's a cheap price here tonight on the Mariners, and I'm willing to take it.
Plenty more games to break down for you around MLB in this full Wednesday slate. Up next, we'll give you some bets in baseball coming your way here on the Early Line. England survived yesterday in the Euro round of 16. They score into stoppage time, and then in extra time, they score the game winner.
You want to wait to the very final minutes? And I say this again, Ben. I don't know. I think you were here last year for my rant on this. Why don't we just play soccer the way you play it when you're down a goal with like 5 minutes to go?
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
I think the one comparison that I'd like to make that reminds me of Tiger is Scotty's ability to make shots on the Sunday look like shots on a Thursday. And Tiger was so good at doing that too. In the high pressure leverage moments, he didn't lose a step. You know, he was still able to hit it pin high. He's still knocking down flag sticks. He doesn't miss hit it.
Only on SportsGrid.
You went to Alberta and, came back with a lot of different stories. I know that sports betting as a possibility, just like Ontario in 2022, we could see that.
The other big topic was Alberta because sure enough, we've heard lots and we've talked about it on here that, a law was passed to allow the market to open up, and we were kind of waiting to see what was going to happen.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Watch out for USA and Canada in 4 years. Cricket's going to be a sport that's growing.
I made my first cricket bet last week or over the weekend. I was getting a team that was leading like 150 to 5 plus odds. I'm like, I'm up 150 points and I'm getting plus odds. Where do I sign? I love this cricket stuff. What are you kidding me?
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back to the early line on this Wednesday. A full slate of Major League Baseball. This, a baseball show as the breakdowns continue, courtesy of one Donnie Rightside. Tonight in the 6, it is game number 3 of this 4-game midweek set between the Blue Jays and the Astros. Houston won the opener. They had won 10 of their last 11 entering last night. The Blue Jays even up the first 2 games of this set yesterday, despite the Astros trying to rally. Houston, though, still victorious in 10 of its last 12. The Blue Jays still struggling. A virtual pick'em tonight in the 6 between the Astros and the Blue Jays. Who gets the dub?
And it probably should be a relative pick'em here. Let me explain what's so tough sometimes when you're handicapping these situations. You take a look at Yusei Kikuchi and say, well, what term would mean the most tonight that you want to look at? Well, how does he do at home? 52 2/3 innings pitched at home this year, Ben. He's got a 4.30 ERA, which isn't great, but one of the better xFIPs on the card today at 3.18 is okay. He's comfortable pitching at home, and a lot of Major League Baseball pitchers would rather pitch at home than on the road. But if you take a look at his last 30 days and go off that non-analytical approach and start to take a look at what's happened on the field, ISO power numbers, weighted on base percentages here, he's a 222 ISO and a 371 weighted on base percentage. And from a player who typically is a left-handed pitcher, should be able to dominate left-handed batters, he can't get any of those guys out and is still struggling also with right-handed batters. Then you take a look at that Astros lineup, and let's just take a look at the first 5 guys based on left-handed pitching over the past 30 days, and we'll use weighted on base percentage. 646 for Altuve, Bregman 375, Alvarez 507, Diaz 313, and then Jake Myers at a 397. So it's what have you done for me lately might carry the day, because Kikuchi isn't a named pitcher per se, but he has pitched better at home. And Renaud Blanco on the other side hasn't been fantastic in his road starts either. I might be looking at more of a total in this spot because I love the way Altuve, Bregman present themselves. Your RBI shots probably coming from those 3 guys at the top here. I like the way the bats are coming around for Houston. I think we get a total to the over as opposed to that pick'em side for me.
A lot of runs yesterday, 7-6. That's 13 total runs in the second game between the Astros and the Blue Jays. And Yordan Alvarez, as Houston has played much better baseball, he has been electric at the dish. Another 3-run shot yesterday. I think it's fair to say, though, DRS, despite maybe being worse on the road than in H-Town, Renaud Blanco has been the best starter for Houston this year, an 8-3 mark with a 2.49 ERA. That's 7th best in all of Major League Baseball. The Royals felt like the right side yesterday, hosting the Rays. A long delay, though, for Kansas City. Never really got back from it. They dropped the opener against Tampa at Kauffman 5-1. Today, it's a pick'em here. Total at 8.5. What do you like in KC?
Another tough one here. I love this fact that we're getting a lot of pick'ems and not those, hey, minus 250, who do you think's going to win the game? When obviously you would think the favorite would do that. Let's take a look at Pepio. And yesterday on the Hill, I thought the better pitcher on the mound was on the Kansas City Royals. Didn't work out in my fashion. And if we were just using those splits, home and away, it should have been a victory for me on paper for the Royals. Didn't work out that way. Ryan Pepio's on the mound. Now, as I told you yesterday, if you had a pitcher that usually pitches better at home, they're more comfortable there. But the Trop, one of those pure pitchers ballparks here. Going on the road, typically your numbers will be worse. That's really the opposite for Ryan Pepio. Take a look at this. A 3.46 ERA through 26 innings pitched on the road and a 3.10 xFIP number. That's fantastic. And also, you're trying to weigh it against what the Kansas City Royals have done over the past month against right-handed pitching. They've been absolutely sensational. You look again, 7 of those 9 guys above in ISO power numbers and weighted on base percentage. If you flip it over to the other side and say, what can Tampa Bay do? Walker's an okay pitcher. Last 30 days, a 128 ISO, fits right in line, weighted on base percentage 310. But you also have a lot of those guys against right-handed pitching on the Tampa Bay Rays doing some damage. Would they score 5 runs yesterday? Kansas City, I believe, only 1 run yesterday. Even though these pitchers are lining up, still good temperature, 77 degrees, blowing out the left field. I'll buck those trends here where Pepio's been fantastic on the road. I think we get runs in this game. I do. Both of these lineups set up pretty well. Let's go with the over in this game also.
Yeah, I like the look there. The Rays have been playing pretty good baseball as of late. Winners of 10 of their last 14. Now a game above 500, the American League East. 4 of the 5 teams with a winning record at this moment. We've showed you 2 games back-to-back. Virtual pick'ems, a couple more that we have looked at where there's not all that much difference in those money line numbers. Yesterday, Donnie, 15 games, full Tuesday card in Major League Baseball. 10 of the 15 decided by 2 runs or less. There's not super big marquee matchups in the sport as maybe you would expect as we head into the 4th of July holiday tomorrow, America's pastime, America's birthday, as we've said numerous times, but some really competitive baseball yesterday, and the odds makers expect that to continue on this Wednesday. Not really in Atlanta or LA, and not necessarily in New York. The Yankees did lose yesterday 5-4 to the Reds in the opener. They were a $2 favorite. The Reds a big underdog in the Bronx, and still a pretty big underdog today against Carlos Rodon and the Yankees, who are just 4-11 since June 14th. The Pinstripes have dropped 11 of their last 15. Are you starting to get concerned about the Yankees?
Oh, I am concerned about the Yankees a little bit, and also concerned on the mound today with Carlos Rodon. If you just take a look at his last 30 days, 122 batters, Ben, he's faced. That's a 259 ISO and a 408 weighted on-base percentage. You got runs yesterday. It's identical. Yesterday, 8.5 total, got the 9 runs. I think we might be into a similar thing. Now, also, if we're looking at Rodon, I do expect the Reds to hit, but so many times the focus is always going to be on that Yankees lineup and who do you think that can do some damage. Again, temperature 75 degrees, wind blowing out to left. That should help. But also, Andrew Abbott, he does have some pretty good stuff as a young left-handed pitcher, but if we're taking a look at those splits, home and away, he's not that good on the road, Ben. You take a look at this season, 51 1/3 innings pitched on the road, a 3.48 ERA, which is very good. But how about that xFIP number at a 5? You don't want to do that with that Yankees lineup. First 3 guys, Volpe, Soto, and Judge, absolutely hammering left-handed pitching with very good weighted on-base percentages here. I don't know if I want to back Rodon at close to a 2-1 price. I don't think I want to take Andrew Abbott on the road, as I just told you. He struggles with that xFIP number. So again, leaning on an over in this game. This one much more than the past 2 that we talked about. I think both of these pitchers can be had tonight. We should get 9 runs, similar to what we saw last night in the Bronx.
The Yanks tried to rally. Aaron Judge cut it to just a 1-run difference yesterday with a solo shot, his 32nd of the year in the 7th. Aaron Judge to hit a home run today, plus 200. Shohei Ohtani to hit a home run today. He hit a 2-run bomb yesterday in LA, also a 2-1 number. Crazy short prices. Some more baseball best bets next. England survived yesterday in the Euro round of 16. They score into stoppage time, and then in extra time, they score the game winner.
You want to wait to the very final minutes? And I say this again, Ben. I don't know. I think you were here last year for my rant on this. Why don't we just play soccer the way you play it when you're down a goal with like 5 minutes to go?
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
I think the one comparison that I'd like to make that reminds me of Tiger is Scotty's ability to make shots on the Sunday look like shots on a Thursday. And Tiger was so good at doing that too. In the high pressure leverage moments, he didn't lose a step. You know, he was still able to hit it pin high. He's still knocking down flag sticks. He doesn't miss hit it.
Only on SportsGrid.
You went to Alberta and, came back with a lot of different stories. I know that sports betting as a possibility, just like Ontario in 2022, we could see that.
The other big topic was Alberta, because sure enough, we've heard lots, and we've talked about it on here, that, a law was passed to allow the market to open up, and we were kind of waiting to see what was going to happen.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Watch out for USA and Canada in 4 years. Cricket's going to be a sport that's growing.
I made my first cricket bet last week or over the weekend. I was getting a team that was leading like 150-5 plus odds. I'm like, I'm up 150 points and I'm getting plus odds? Where do I sign? I love this cricket stuff. What are you kidding me?
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
We will give you some baseball best bets and send you some winners into your long holiday weekend in just a few moments. I am Ben Stevens. He is Donnie Rightside. But before we do that, we want to give a sincere shout out and a thank you to our guy, the executive producer in the mornings here on the SportsGrid Network, John Shames. DRS since November of 2021. Shamesy guy and I have been working together. He took over the role as the lead producer for the morning after. Remember TMA? That was way back in November of 2021. He has been a part of crafting and shaping all of the content across the SportsGrid network, but specifically here, the morning shows that we have been doing now for nearly 3 years. And of course, played a huge role in the joining of our two morning shows, TMA and TEL, now here in the Reinforce the Early Line. We are going to miss John Shames in his next venture, but we know he is going to do some great stuff, and we wish him very well.
Absolutely, we do, and certainly putting in that work to make us look good on the cameras. There have been many weekends where it was me, Ben, and Shames running around the financial district of New York, having some fun, having some beers, getting some pizza. So I will miss those times as well, and we miss nothing but the best. Yeah,
that is for sure. And DRS, I'm not sure if we are able to bring John Shames live on air right now based on some technical difficulties down in our production pit.
Wow.
It looks like we have an early look.
Whoa, what was that about? Did you see that?
Hold on, we didn't get to see that. Our viewers did not get to see what was going out in program over the air. Do it again, put it on, quick, quick. There it is.
Yeah.
Oh my God, fireworks for John Shames this final day. Shamesy guy, we
spent
love
a lot
it.
on that, didn't we? Yeah.
Wait. What is that? Who is that? Did I just do that by doing this? Is that what's? Oh my God!
I think so.
Wow.
Look at that.
Oh, let me
Master
try.
controller of fireworks.
I don't see it.
Features
I
of
don't see it.
That's
Oh my
fantastic.
God.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
How about
ceremonious.
that?
That's pretty good.
That's awesome.
James, the guy,
That's pretty cool, man.
Any
That was
final
unexpected.
words here on the
Lot of final
SportsGrid Network,
words.
my friend?
You guys are too good to me. You're gonna make me get emotional up here. I'm determined not to though, but. You said it well, Ben. I appreciate all of our work together over these past couple of years, having the opportunity to do the morning after, to transition to the early line, to get Donnie Rightside in the mix. We're a family here.
Yeah.
We missed Joe Frizo today, but it's been a wonderful ride. I cannot thank this company, Lou Mayon, Jeremy Stein, everyone, Greg Sussman, Mike Cardano, everyone who's given me the opportunity to grow here. And it's a sad day. And, as I've told everyone here, you guys aren't getting rid of me. I'm still going to be around, so I'll be popping in to bother you whenever I can. But it's been a pleasure, y'all, and I'm grateful for everyone and for all the friendships I've made here.
Sad, but also joyous, right? Bittersweet. Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened, John Shames. We salute you once again. And before we bid you adieu, how about we celebrate with some fireworks and one final John Shames tribute, shall we?
Exactly.
What? Dude, what is this? Oh my God. Come on, man. Come on. The black and white. Oh my God.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. This is. This is Joe Frizo written all over it. This is great stuff, man.
I don't
Look at JY. Goodness.
What is that? Look at that mix. Shames, JY, and Rick Horo.
I don't
There
even
he is.
remember that. Oh, man.
A big
That was
round of
awesome,
applause.
guys.
Like James Harden being
Oh
traded to the
my
LA
God.
Clippers.
Wow.
John Shames in black and white in memoriam. We appreciate you,
Look,
my man. You've seen that
by the way,
handsome face.
Shames.
Go ahead.
I mean, by the way, we've all been fired before, so good luck getting back on your feet. It's all good, though, man. It's all good.
Listen, as Craig Mish said, adult film industry is going to be good for me. So,
Yeah. Listen, that face and that voice, you have heard it. Shames the guy, before we say farewell to you and us here, it is time for a best bet on this Wednesday. It's time for bye, bye, bye.
let's see if I can time this one up. Bye.
You heard him do it
good.
live and what he did in Boston during the 2022 NBA Finals. Shamesy guy, we'll leave it for Donnie Rightside to give us an MLB best bet.
Jason Hayward, RBI plus 170 price. Weak pitcher on the mound, left-handed batter at the plate. He's due to bat 6. 5 guys that should be on base, who should equate to an RBI plus 170. Jason Hayward today.
Vinny Pasquantino plus 140 RBI prop for the Royals. Shames, anything?
I can outbid Geoff Epi or whatever his name is in the hot dog eating contest. Leave it at that.
We'll see you after
Is
the
that his
holiday
name?
weekend. Enjoy it, everybody.
I don't know.